is Jenn and Julien, and you are listening to episode 25 of X Appeal. And we are talking about LDRs.
Lumbar dysfunctional.
No. Long distance relationships.
Yes. And to actually embody it, we're recording this long distance.
Yeah, Julien, we're about to enter into our own long distance relationship. I know. But it has to happen at some point. I got to pop out the baby at some point. He is ready to go. So right now I'm 38 and a half weeks pregnant.
By the time this airs, the baby will be out.
But by the time this airs, I'll have like a 1 month old or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ew, gross, sick. I'm gonna be a mom.
But yeah, I think we already told our audience that we will be for like a few episodes remote, just because it's easier for you with maternity and everything, and it just works better for our schedule. So we're gonna do that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And between feedings, I'll be doing a podcast.
Yeah, you could feed your baby while doing the podcast too.
Well, nobody wants to see that. So
some people do.
Yeah. Those are the ones who probably have bodies hidden in their their backyard, if I had to guess.
The creeps.
Yeah, the creeps. So long distance relationships. What?
Have you been in a long distance?
Yes. Yeah, I have. I think I've been in just one though.
How long of a distance?
It was from Connecticut to Tennessee. He lived in Tennessee and I lived in Connecticut.
Okay.
And it lasted 9 months. We met in Tennessee, and maybe about a few months after we started dating is when I got a new job in Connecticut. And that was that. And then, we kept in touch. Like we'd go to see each other once a month.
Yeah.
And then I wound up cheating on him.
What? You out of all people?
I know, with a coworker.
Oh wow! I would have never. I've never thought. I would never think you could.
I didn't know that I had it in me, but I had it in me.
Wow.
So yeah, it didn't work out, but he was a lovely person, and I think I'm just going to right off the bat say it's not a good idea. Have you been in a long distance relationship before?
Yeah, my first girlfriend, actually, we were together for when I was young, I was 17. And we were together for close to a year. And then I moved to Canada to go to college.
And she was where?
Huh?
Where was she?
She was in France. So real long distance, 6-hour jet lag and the whole thing.
Oh, wow. And how often would you guys see each other with that?
Well, we didn't see each other for about 3 months. So we would stay in touch and the whole thing. And I remember her saying a good point of how it was harder for her than for me, because for me, I was just in a new country, discovering new stuff. I didn't have any memories, right, attached to any of the places. But for her, she was like, well, every time I go there, it makes me think of when we did it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then after that, in November, because I left around end of August, and then in November I was done my first semester, because I was only doing a semester of English, and I went back to France for about a month. But after the 3 months, we were already kind of started to be off rails, and then when I got back for a month, we were fully back, reminded of why we were together, and then after that, I left again in January to go to a full 6 months of college, my first actual semester. And I think 2 months in, we broke up.
See, that's the problem. It's like you're not living in reality. You're not living in the reality of how life is like with that person every day, like how you should in a normal functioning situation. You're constantly romanticizing the idea of who they are and what you had.
It's also frustrating as fuck, because everything you're doing, man, I wish this person was there,
Yeah, of course. And then there's this whole idea of distance makes the heart grow fonder, which is true. I mean,
for a little bit,
but that wears off after a little while.
I mean, there is I think age come into play too? Like I have a hard time believing that a 17, 18-year-old can maintain a long distance relationship.
No.
Like if you're 35,
in a relationship like in the same city.
yeah.
Let's
If
face
you're
it.
35, I think, and you've been through it and you've actually dated and now you meet someone and okay, this is something rare that I've never had before, you might be more inclined to actually make a long distance relationship work. Also, you have more money, so it's easier for you to travel back and forth. And I guess you're at a time when you're more ready to commit. Both people are more ready, so it's easier for one of them to make a move and say, okay, I'm going to move so we can be together. But
At
when
the
you
same time, though, the older you get, the more you have a career. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be willing to just like shelve your job for like a week or so to go and visit this person. Like it has to work with your lifestyle in a big way the older you get.
Yeah. So wait, so do you think that a long distance relationship can work? Like do they need an actual do they need a long-term plan?
I don't think long distance relationships work, period.
No, if you have a long-term plan, yeah.
An exit strategy. And by exit strategy, I don't even necessarily mean a long-term plan. I mean, like you have to figure out when you're going to be living together in the same.
You need something to look forward to, because if you just were doing this, I don't think this can work.
It has to be a temporary thing. It can't be well, let's just kick the can down the road and figure it out later and postpone it, because later will never happen. Like I tried to put myself in that situation when I was moving from New York to California. I was seeing this guy for, I think it was like 6 months at the time. Yeah. And it was a really hard decision. I mean, we weren't boyfriend, girlfriend, but we were like almost there. We would have been if we had stayed in the same place. And, we kind of thought, well, okay, let's try to make it work long distance. And then as soon as I was getting ready to leave, I just thought, this is just not, I'm romanticizing this whole idea of what it's going to be like. And I'm pacifying the situation to like make it okay with him for me to leave.
Yes, so I get it. But you were also only 6 months in.
Yeah. Yeah.
How deep, sure you can have a connection, but like, do you think it can work? At least like, okay, you've been with someone for 4 years and now one of you get a job like in another country. You have five hours jet lag. Do you think that's more likely to last longer, at least relationship, because of all the past that you had?
You have to have an exit strategy. You have to have an end game. You do. You have to be like, all right, so okay, we'll do this for even a year, right? Even a year. Just give me a year to like figure out, how I'm gonna make it out to you, and how we're gonna wind up in the same place, and then we can try. But I really think unless you have a game plan, it's never going to work. Like I have a colleague, Rachel Lindsay, who lived in a separate state from her husband. I think her husband lived in Miami and she lived out here in LA. They did that for months, and they made it work. Obviously, A, they're married. B, he was coming out here to visit occasionally. And then, he always had this plan to move out here. He was actively working on getting a job in Los Angeles. So you have to have a plan in place. And then I know of, married couples who spent a couple of years living in different states.
And did it work?
Yeah, somehow it did, because they were, they said, all right, well, I'm working on, getting vetted for different jobs to move out and live with you. But you have to have a plan. You can't just go into it blind. And you have to have you have to see each other on a fairly regular basis. And both of you have to be committed to making that work no matter what. No,
I agree. But I also feel like, and I don't know, I mean, it also sounds very unhealthy, but like, I also feel like if you are, and there's also long distance, right? Like, let's say you live in the same state but different cities. I feel like that could potentially work well, because now you have the best of both worlds, right? You have the independence that you want, that you need for your work to be able to be career oriented, and you have that independence that some people want, but you also have that relationship aspect, having someone to talk to, and then you get to spend X amount of days with that person that are 100% pure happiness, and then you go back to your independence lifestyle. I don't know how sustainable that will be, but
Yeah.
there could be a way where it works, but it would take two very, very, very specific type of individuals,
I mean, it's just, it to me is something that spells disaster if you're just trying it out. There's a question of like, how long is too long in between visits? You know what I mean?
No, also you can't like build a family that way. You would need to be in the same home at some point to like create something like a home together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my girlfriends who are on the apps, they're like, well, this guy lives in San Francisco. I'm like, why even bother?
Yeah.
Like, this person
So
lives
many already.
And that's something else too. I did date somebody who lived in Las Vegas, and Vegas.
I remember.
Like a 4-hour drive from LA.
For you 6, I think.
Yeah. And he would make that drive. I mean, he would make the drive frequently, as much as he could. Almost every weekend.
It would take you 6 hours for you to go because you drive slow, but you were just like,
exactly.
You didn't get that flu right over your head.
and this was during COVID, so
he was making drives, right?
He was making drives.
That's the one that always got freaked out because you were sending flowers to his mom or some shit.
No, he didn't freak out. I thought he freaked out. I don't know what happened, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. I sent his mom flowers for her retirement.
Oh yeah.
And she still keeps in touch. She loves me.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's a sweetheart. But so, and we tried to make it work like that. And it was nice. The visits were nice. But it was just a pain in the ass. And honestly, there was no end game. So it's not like he was planning on coming out here and living or getting a job. No. Maybe things would have gone different if that were the case, but it didn't.
I don't think you can start dating long distance. There's no way this can work.
No.
You can probably make it work, honestly, for 2 to 5 years if we really have to, but you'd have had to be together for...
You have to have a solid foundational base.
And like, I still think 5 years pushing it. That's like, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah. And then, there's the whole trust factor, right? Like, what are you doing? What are you up to when I'm not around?
Of course.
You have to have that. And listen, I don't know how you can get there with somebody.
Yeah. Okay. But so, and that's
like always for like years beforehand, or like,
but that's kind of like how like you'll have like couples and be like, yeah, well, I don't know. Should I go through her phone, his or her phone? Like, what if they're cheating on me? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. At the end of the day, if somebody wants to cheat on you, they'll find a way. Like it could legit takes 5 minutes to have sex with someone else. So it's not like
I feel like it's easier when you're distanced.
Yeah, no, for sure. It for sure is.
Because you start to live. Why am I burping so much? I'm sorry. You start to live.
Thanks for letting all of us know.
I can't help it.
We'll give you a pass because you're pregnant.
I know.
Nobody needed to know that you were burping.
I'm a gassy pregnant lady. It's got to come out somewhere, Julien. So my thing is, like, it's a lot easier to take those weekends. Take those weekends and like go out with your girls or your guys, and who's going to know? You know what I mean? Like you don't have that accountability, I think, that you do.
Nobody's gonna know. You don't know that thing. It's a TikTok thing. God damn
what?
It. There's a sound that's going viral. It's like, nobody's going to know.
I don't know. I don't know what you Gen Zers.
No, but listen, I agree with you. It's true that it's easier because nobody's around you, and that significant other is not in the same thing. It's long distance is tough, and that's why I don't know how we're gonna do with this podcast long distance.
Oh, shut up. We're gonna do just fine. There are so many people who only do distance with podcasts.
Yeah, how successful are they though?
I know you miss me, Julien. I know you miss my musk. You miss sitting next to me.
Now that you're like burping. I'd rather we do this long distance. Um, man, Jared's a lucky guy.
He really is. He really is.
Burpee Jen with him.
Oh, he embraces it. That's how I know he's the one.
That's it.
He looks forward to it.
Yeah.
I think. Also, one thing that's important. I mean, I can't say I've ever been successful in like a long distance, relationship period. I mean, then you have to like introduce intimacy in a
oh my God.
in a virtual way. Like what? Are we bringing phone sex now into the equation? Like, are we talking about that? I don't know.
That's something that I have never been into.
Me either. I think it's comical.
Like while you're in bed or on FaceTime, like what are you wearing? Yeah, you touching this? I can't. Like,
no,
to me,
I can't. I can't do it with a straight face. And I don't know. Like, do you? I think the whole thing is it's almost like role playing, right? Like how people can get into like role playing.
Yeah.
To spice up their bedroom lives.
Yeah.
I would laugh my face off. I can't do it and take it seriously.
I'm trying to think like, no, so I think I'll take it back. I think that if I've been with someone and now we actually have, for any reason, we need like to be intimate, but we're not in the same like city or whatever, I could see how on FaceTime, things like not on the phone, but if it's FaceTime and you show me the goods, I could potentially, this could happen. But I need like cameras. The camera needs to be on the goods. So
I think I've done that once and I felt real uncomfortable.
Really? And
yeah, it was bad. The lighting was bad. It was just not, yeah. What's the point? I don't know. Like, come on.
Hold on. Explain to me, what were you doing? You were filming yourself?
Yeah.
Just filming, or were you doing stuff for yourself?
I wasn't doing anything for myself. I was just filming.
That's the thing, I mean, like that's what I'm talking about. Like you're filming yourself as a guy doing the whole hand stuff, and then she films herself doing whatever she needs to be doing.
What are we doing? Like,
turning each other on. But also, why am I asking you this? We've already been through this. You don't like to please your man. You don't like to do that. So we've been through this.
That is not true. That is not true. In person, it's a different story. But like over the phone, I just like, what do? Do you like lower your voice and like start?
You don't. Listen, I feel like this. Get your tripod, put your ring light on, spread your legs, and
no, nobody wants to see that.
What do you mean? Every guy wants to see that. What do you think we watch porn to see their teeth? No, we don't care about this. You hear the voice? No. I mean, that's in my opinion. If somebody were to do phone sex, that's the only way I could do it
on its own. Like seeing that on its own.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure that as both people would get turned on by the idea of their phone being like,
I think it looks like a dark hole, Julien. I don't know. I don't think that I could ever. I don't think that as a man, I don't know. I don't think I would get turned on by that.
Oh yeah, let's ask a woman what turns men on. Yeah, that makes sense.
Boobs, right? Isn't it boobs? Don't guys like boobs?
It's like boobs and stuff, but like we need both. We need both. I guarantee you. Like, why are you saying that men don't like that? I'm a man. I could tell you.
I just think it's not good on its own. I think like the female body is beautiful.
Absolutely.
Like, like dressing up in like lingerie and like taking videos and like, pictures with like good angles and good lighting. That's super sexy. And even videos like super sexy. But I think that on its own is a little terrifying, if I'm being honest.
Not for men. Not for men. I think so. I think if you're in a long distance relationship, prop that camera and, guys and girls just like show the goods and do your thing.
Texting or sexting or whatever, to me is like so much better than actually using your voice.
We've all been this thing where you're like, we're sexting, but you're in the kitchen making a sandwich at the same time.
I've sexted people like where it's like a group setting, like where like everybody gets in on it. I have I have screenshotted my friend's sexts and then copied what she said and then sexted somebody else. So I have like, what do you call that? Resexting?
I call that sad. I call that very sad. That's what I call it. I call that
plagiarism.
Like, there's no hope.
Copyright infringement.
Yeah. I mean, I have my I have a really good friend of mine here, this French girl, and she's in a long distance right now with a boyfriend who they're married. And he had to go back to France because his visa was over. So he had to go back to France, and then she got her paperwork, finally her green card. So they ended up getting married because anyways, they're deeply in love, but now they're waiting for his papers to arrive, but it could take up to 2 years.
Oh my God.
So they go home every three months, and in the meantime, that's all they do. They FaceTime every night when he gets up, when he gets up, when she goes to sleep. And it's just like waiting, and it's so hard, but good for them because they're really like pulling it off. So far, at least it's and also they're recently married.
You have to be really committed to it.
Yeah.
And both people have to be equally committed to it. I also think that, I don't know, what are your thoughts on the whole traveling thing? Because if it's too one-sided, like, for example, if Jared and I lived, coast to coast, and I were always taking long weekends and traveling out to him, to me, like, that would get old really quickly. And I would feel like the whole relationship was unbalanced, and it would seem a little unfair. And I would eventually get a little resentful, to be honest. I think that's why I think it has to be like more equal, or you have to try to make it equal.
Yeah, but like, to me, that's not like, here's where I don't agree. It's not because like, okay, I did this 3 times, so you have to do it 3 times. It balances with other things that you might be doing that he's not doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can't compare one action to another. Like, it's not because I flew out to see you 3 times and now you have to fly out to see me 3 times. It could be something else. It could be like, okay, well, in our relationship, I'm the one who, like, think about it, right? I made dinner 3 times, so you have to make dinner 3 times. No, it's like, in our relationship, I make the dinner, and you enjoy doing the dishes, so you do the dishes, right?
So what's the equivalent of doing the dishes when you're traveling?
It could be you're the one always setting up FaceTime dates and FaceTime dinners, and you're the one setting up this while he's the one constantly flying in.
You plan what to do.
It could be like that. Yeah, it could be like that. It could be like, all you gotta do is come in and everything will be figured out, or But I mean, I get it too. Also, just traveling gets tiring at some point. So
yeah, it gets exhausting, and not to mention, like, I mean, outside of the pandemic, whatever. I mean, traveling's been a little chaotic, but yeah, I feel like it takes a lot out of you.
Scary. Like, really, because I've taken so many planes during the pandemic, I haven't been scared once.
No, me either, really. But what I'm saying is, like, traveling in general takes a lot out of you.
Oh yeah,
no, for sure. Going to be on a plane to travel to see the person. I just think it's just not a normal. It is built for temporary situations only.
So. Yeah, I think so.
It is a stopgap. It can't be anything. You have to have an out.
Yeah. I think you have to have a long-term goal and a plan of meeting up and something. Yeah, of course. Otherwise, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Get it. I was actually I had this I screenshotted this question that I wanted us to go over. And it's from, should I say her name? Jenn. I'll say Jenn.
No, my name is Jenn.
No, I'll say, I don't know if she wants to put on less. Anyways, Jenn Audrey. And she asked us, which I thought was a really cool questions and advice. And I think that probably more towards you, but advice on how to get over an ex that is famous and that like you have to see on like billboards and stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I've been there.
Actually, I thought about this. I'm like, fuck, imagine.
Yeah. Well,
I'll have that picture of you in front of that poster with you know who.
So I have gone on dates and dated guys who've been in like A-list actors who've been in major like Marvel franchise, like, big blockbuster movies.
You don't want to say who?
Nope. But
'Cause I kind of want to know who you. I'm not. Are you sure it's Marvel and not DC? Because I feel like you get them confused. I would have known if you've dated a Marvel.
well, one is DC and one is Marvel.
Hold on.
think.
DC, I know. Marvel.
Yeah.
Do I know?
Yeah.
You told me?
I've told you this before. Yeah. One is Marvel and one is DC.
Oh, I think I know who DC is.
You know who DC is, but I don't.
I know who DC is. I think I know who Marvel is. Does he have a bow by chance?
So yeah, I've been in that. I've been in that boat before, and I've actually had to interview these people, before in a professional setting after things have ended. And
God, yeah, that's true.
seeing their I went on a few dates with one of them, and shortly after, he was all over the news for some bullshit, and we had to report on it because I work at Extra, so it's like this is my world is entertainment news. So I've had to do reports on it. I've gone to movie theaters and seen previews of his movies, and it's in your face.
Yeah.
And it's hurtful. It's hurtful because it's just in a way that one side of this person, but that might not be so adorable to everybody else. And by adorable, I mean people adore him. They adore the thought of who he is and maybe his character. But a different side, especially if it didn't end in the best way. So yeah, I mean, it's a surreal feeling. But I've always tried to keep it professional. And
how do you answer that then? Because also there's also, you've been on a few dates. It's not like you were in an actual relationship with these people.
Not an actual relationship.
I think she's asking how do you get over an ex?
We're in a relationship with somebody.
Actually, now on billboards?
I would say just acknowledge that it's not going to go away. It's going to be around you. I would choose not to do any research on it. Don't torture yourself by looking up any videos or Googling their name, or don't throw yourself, in that kind of misery. Just, take it for what it is. You'll see his picture on a billboard. You'll see, movie trailers and whatever, and you might see them on TMZ every once in a while, but
yeah, I also feel like once again, it's like the cliche, only time, makes things better. And I feel like eventually once you get to a point where you met somebody else that you're genuinely happy with, you look at this and be like, it won't affect you. You're like, yeah, I guess
you won't even care. You won't even care anymore, to be honest.
But I wonder if there's any specific tricks to actually get over it a little bit faster. Because there's the classical get a rebound and go, but imagine if you've been in a relationship with Drake for a year and he broke up with you. How do you Drake is everywhere.
I think the hardest part about it is knowing how many people worship that person.
Okay, that makes it hard.
You have to acknowledge the idea that they're worshiping the idea of that person and not necessarily who they are. If you were in a relationship with them, you know them in a way that nobody else does. So
you were in love with that.
And you just, I always thought to myself, if they knew this part about him, maybe they wouldn't look at him as so much of a god-like figure anymore, because they're just...
That's what bothers you? Do you think that's what how other people see that person affect you moving on?
I think it doesn't help, especially if it was a bad ending, seeing them thrown in your face all the time when you're not asking for it. I mean, it's not like this is a private person where you make an effort to see them, and you go to some spots where you can easily avoid that person because that they're not going to be in this certain place. it's kind of unavoidable to see a public figure again, especially if they're an actor.
Of course. Yeah.
So I guess just, you have to, for me, it was about separating who the person was from the persona.
Okay.
And that's what helped me get over that.
But then how is, if that person was great to you and they just weren't into you and you genuinely like love them as a person, and now you see them every day, separating the persona doesn't do anything for you to move on, because it just keeps reminding you of the good times without that person, right? So that's still hard.
It is hard. And there's no way of avoiding it, unfortunately. I think all it takes is just time. You just have to let time run its course.
Yeah.
I mean, like anything else. I mean, yeah, that person's going to be in your face maybe more so than a private person would. And this is just like in day-to-day life. I mean, you have to kind of seek that person out if they're a private individual, like somebody who's not in the public eye. You have to seek them out, whether it's like looking through old photos and videos or text messages. Don't dwell on that. I wouldn't suggest anybody dwell on that with an ex if you want to move on. But for me, it was just like eye roll seeing this person's, picture at the Grove or whatever it was, because I won't forget that. Like, after shit ended, he came out with another movie and it was all over the place.
Yeah.
And I was just, I grabbed my girlfriend and we just started laughing, and like, that's all you can do is kind of laugh it away. I mean, but also kind of chalk it up to, like I had a high profile guy. Like I got that, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, if it's a feather in your cap, whatever. I mean, I
still think it's easier. It's easier if you've only dated. I don't know what her situation is, but I think if you've been in a relationship for a year and you were actually in love, I think you can't. It's
hard,
and you just
acknowledge that you're in a unique situation that not many people can say that they're in.
Get out there also, like, go date. Again, we always come back to the same thing, is like, just go and get some.
Like it's any other relationship, go and get some new ass and get over it.
Or if it's a local celebrity, go like to move to a different country where they're not known. Move to Japan.
Don't watch their movies. Don't watch their movies. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, that feeling will pass. And now, like, I look at both of those people as, it happened. It was a moment in time, and it was fun while it lasted, and that's it.
And you still don't want to tell us who they are.
No. Nope.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe someday when I write my memoir.
I'll respect that. But I think, I was right with the Marvel guy.
Yeah, the Marvel guy,
you just went silent. You basically said who it was after I.
No.
It's either that or.
I will say the last time I did an interview with him, he pretended like he had no idea who I was.
No way, really?
He didn't even look me in the eye. I was like, of course not. Of course.
Wait, but you guys weren't dates just?
Yeah. Yes.
How many dates?
Like 9 or 10.
Oh, and then he ignored you?
He didn't ignore me, but like he definitely didn't act familiar.
Wow.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It wasn't.
I was gonna say, could it be Mark Ruffalo? But it's not Mark Ruffalo, because he seems too nice to be doing this.
Also, isn't he married?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But so yeah, it's a weird world.
Yeah.
That whole idea of dating someone famous. I tell Jared this all the time, because he gets. I mean, anybody who I think is like. Who knows that, like, if I knew that he dated somebody super famous, I'd be asking questions. And a lot of the questions that he asked, he was like, well, like, then you have someone like me, and I'm like, someone like you are a literal hero. Like you are literally save lives every single day that you go to work. I have much more respect for what you do every day. What these guys do, it's a job just like anything else.
Yeah, of
It
course.
just so happens that their job puts them in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
And I'm not diminishing what actors do. You're an actor. I know that it takes a lot of practice, and it's its own art form. Like you're literally
Well,
becoming
yeah, no, we're
somebody
not
else.
saving lives for sure.
But I mean, it's I don't think there should be that level of intimidation.
No, yeah, I agree.
But that is that's a difficult situation to be in. I
So
sympathize.
basically, Jen, you
I
know,
sympathize with you, Jen.
yeah, keep like just like don't like just
Don't torture yourself by googling the headlines, or going off to see the movies or the TV shows or whatever he might be in.
yeah, be patient
Keep
and be
yourself.
patient and date around and
It's the same thing as dealing with any other breakup. Just don't. The best thing to do is maybe just take them out of your phone uh and avoid exposure.
that is
Right?
the worst advice.
Why?
Take him out of the phone. How does that help from her not driving next to the billboard next to her
She
house?
won't look back on messages. She won't look back on private pictures. There's nothing to look back on at that point.
But you still see it every day when you drive.
I don't know. Pick a new fucking route. Have Waze take you somewhere else.
Okay, that's better. Better pick a new route. Use the long way around.
Take the long way.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Well, I guess that hopefully that helps her out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long distance covered.
Yeah. So I think that's good for this episode. Yeah.
Yeah. We will cut that little awkward moment, but yeah. Okay, I'll finish this off.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully, I hope that helps her out a little bit. Although I don't know if we really helpful. But anyways, as usual, if you have questions,
I think it was very helpful. I think that what I just said was very helpful.
a little disagree here, but it's as always, if you have more questions, please DM them to us on social media at XAppeal. Next week we have Lisa coming in.
Yeah, Lisa Bonos. She is a Washington Post relationship columnist.
Exactly. And that's about it. You guys have a great week.